So what did the most important group of voters think of the candidates at the final debate last night down in Boca? The undecided voters. Frank Luntz, our old buddy, watched the debate with them and has their immediate reaction. Frank.
We've got some of the most important people in America seated right here, our floating swing voters here in Florida, and they thought that Barack Obama had a good night. Explain to the American people in a word or phrase why Obama did so well.
He pointed out that the highlight of his foreign policy has been the death of Osama bin Laden.
He did a very good job of explaining what he has done, the purpose behind it, and the direction that we're going in.
Yes, he was very consistent, and we just need to keep him in office and go on forward.
He was very presidential, and he answered all the questions truthfully, I felt.
Still a shortfall, even though he got bin Laden.
Knowledgeable and trustworthy.
He was assertive, confident, and has the right attitude.
Able to execute the foreign policy is proven in his presidency.
I feel he was very controlled in all his answers.
So what was it? I mean, you thought that he performed better than expectations. Why? Anybody? Yes.
Obama made a very strong opening gambit when he mentioned that Romney was continuing with the policies, economic policies in the 1920s and the foreign policies in the 1980s. And then he continued there, just attacking Romney's positions. Meanwhile, I didn't feel like Romney responded.
Why Obama?
He just shows that sarcasm can still take you a long way.
Sarcasm. That was the best line of the bunch.
He seemed intelligent and more aggressive this time around.
Now, there's something that Obama did. There was a line that he used about bin Laden and 9/11 that was particularly powerful to you all. I want to show you that even though the Dow scored high, it was actually what you couldn't see, the reaction of our focus group, that was really powerful. Let's take a look.
When it comes to going after Osama bin Laden, you said, well, any president would make that call. But when you were a candidate in 2008, as I was, and I said if I got bin Laden in our sights, I would take that shot, you said we shouldn't move heaven and earth to get one man. And you said we should ask Pakistan for permission. And if we had asked Pakistan for permission, we would not have gotten it. And it was worth moving heaven and earth to get him.
I think of all four debates, the three presidential and vice presidential, that was one of the most powerful comments that I heard from any presidential candidate. Why was that powerful?
He said that he was going to move heaven and hell, and I am not a mom, but I'm an aunt. I have 3 nephews and 2 nieces, and I would do anything to protect them and save them. And I want to back up somebody that's going to do that for our country.
You know, you're nodding your head. What was significant about that? Why was it so emotional?
That energy he used for saying those words.
It spoke to my heart. It spoke to our hearts. It brought out strong feelings in me.
Obama was strong when they talked foreign policy. Romney was strong when they talked domestic policy, when they talked the economy. So he was confident. Obama was confident when he dealt with foreign policy issues, but Romney, I think, definitely took the agenda when he dealt with the economic issues.
Angela Stanton, Obama.
The statement to move heaven and earth shows his level of commitment to protect and secure the American people, that he'll go after any enemy that comes and threatens us or damages us in any way.
And you guys felt positive, really positive about that, correct? Yes. One of the most powerful statements of the campaign. I think you're going to hear it replayed again and again. And it's one of the reasons why our group in Florida thought Obama did well in this final presidential debate. Back to you.
All right, Frank, thank you very much. We're going to see what the same group of undecided voters had to say about Governor Romney's performance in the next hour, so stay with us. Also, the president.
All right, so what did the most important group of voters think of the candidates' final face-off last night? Those that are still undecided. Frank Luntz watched the debate with them and got their immediate reaction.
Florida is ground zero for politics in 2012, and we've got 27 floating swing voters. Give me a word or phrase to describe what you thought of Mitt Romney's performance.
Very well rehearsed and clueless.
Businesslike as always.
Presidential and on the mark.
Policies were indistinguishable from the previous policy.
Business-minded.
Too much of a canned response to matter of fact.
Better than I expected.
So you guys felt that, well, let me ask you, because this is supposed to be a foreign policy debate. Did Mitt Romney, when he brought it back to economic and business issues, did he do well in that part of the debate?
Yes.
Yes? Tell me why.
He knew he was on the money. I mean, he knows that we need jobs, the health care. We have so many people on food stamps. People are losing their homes. You know, he was on the money.
That wasn't what the debate was about. He was taking it back to what he felt comfortable with, and he had no clue about the foreign policy. He kept bringing it back to his old base.
Security. Right, the redundancy was boring to
He can't have security without the economy. He found every opportunity he could to bring it back to what he was. Let me finish. Let me finish. He kept bringing it back to his comfort zone and steered away from the actual facts.
What was the comfort zone? It was clear that he wasn't quite astute on foreign affairs, so he had to go back to his place of comfortability in order to have some stage in tonight's debate.
Hold on. I want to bring it to the one area, and we'll come to you coming out of this. The one thing that most of you agreed on was his comment about Israel and his challenge to the president about what he had done or not done on Israel. Let's take a look at how well it dialed, because both Democrats and Republicans agreed.
Mr. President, the reason I call it an apology tour is because you went to the Middle East and you flew to Egypt and to Saudi Arabia and to Turkey and Iraq. And by the way, you skipped Israel, our closest friend in the region. But you went to the other nations. And by the way, they noticed that you skipped Israel. And then in those nations, and on Arabic TV, you said that America had been dismissive and derisive. You said that on occasion, America had dictated to other nations. Mr. President, America has not dictated to other nations. We have freed from dictators.
Why was that so powerful?
I feel the president is always going to have an advantage in this type of debate because he has a lot of information that is only private to the president or his inner circle. So Mitt Romney has to gather his information from all the other sources.
But why was this clip so powerful?
My father's Israeli, and I was very, very strong on one side, and then I heard a few things. Mitt Romney was talking about how he never visited, and he went around and made it obvious. Instead of going and speaking to the president or the dictator, what have you, he went to the Holocaust Museum, he went here, he went there. He needs to have a sit-down. If we're real partnerships, he needs to sit, he needs to talk.
Go ahead.
Reality is the president is overly cautious not to offend Islamic sensibilities, and he's very willing to alienate our allies like the Israelis and the British.
So that bothered you, what happened?
Very much.
The Florida Jewish vote is an important vote. Yes. And it could well make the difference. You guys agree with that?
Yes. We agree with that.
I assure you that based on your reaction, that's going to be a debate within the Jewish community over the last 14 days. So just maybe Florida's up for grabs. Back to you.